The day had finally arrived. After months of bitter campaigning and a contentious election, Donald Trump was set to be inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States. The world watched on with bated breath as the soon-to-be leader of the free world addressed the crowd gathered in Washington, D.C. His speech was, as expected, brash and unapologetic. He vowed to make America great again, to build walls and ban immigrants, to repeal Obamacare and create jobs for the forgotten men and women of the Rust Belt. The crowd roared their approval, oblivious to the whispers of concern from the international community. As Trump ascended the dais, his signature comb-over waving in the crisp air, it was impossible to deny the sense of history in the air. Here was a man who had defied the odds, who had captured the imagination of millions of disaffected Americans and led them to believe that anything was possible. Whether love him or hate him, there was no denying that Donald Trump was about to change the world as we knew it. The ceremony itself was a spectacle to behold. Trump's family, including his 3 wives and numerous children, looked on proudly as he placed his hand on a well-worn copy of the Bible and took the oath of office. His daughter Ivanka, clad in a designer gown and wearing a diamond-encrusted tiara, held the family's most prized possession, a tiny, golden key that symbolized the power and influence her father now wielded. As Trump raised his right hand and took the reins of power, the world held its breath, wondering what the next 4 years would bring. In his first address as president, Trump announced a flurry of executive orders aimed at fulfilling his campaign promises. The United States immediately withdrew from various international agreements and treaties, including the Paris Climate Accords and the Iran nuclear deal. A massive border wall was commissioned, stretching from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean, with Mexico footing the bill. Immigrants from Muslim-majority countries were banned from entering the United States, sparking protests and legal challenges across the globe. At home, Obamacare was repealed and replaced with a less comprehensive healthcare plan that primarily benefited the wealthy. Despite these controversial decisions, Trump supporters remained loyal. Rallies were held in cities across America, with supporters waving American flags and chanting "Make America Great Again." Trump's approval ratings soared, with many Americans feeling that their voices had finally been heard. The world watched on with fascination and trepidation as this new world order took shape, uncertain of what the future held. But one thing was clear: the world would never be the same again. As the first 100 days of his presidency came to a close, Trump's administration continued to make headlines. The economy showed signs of improvement, with corporate tax cuts and deregulation helping to stimulate growth. However, there were also concerns about the rising national debt and income inequality. Internationally, tensions remained high as Trump engaged in a series of provocative tweets and policy statements aimed at North Korea, Iran, and Russia. His unpredictable nature had many world leaders on edge. At home, the effects of his policies were beginning to be felt more acutely. The border wall was nearing completion, and illegal immigration had decreased significantly. However, there were reports of migrant families being separated at the border, sparking outrage and protests from human rights groups. The repeal of Obamacare had left millions without health care coverage, and the replacement plan was criticized for not providing adequate care for the most vulnerable. Despite these challenges, Trump's base remained loyal, cheering him on at rallies and praising his tell-it-like-it-is approach. As the years went by, the world began to adjust to the new normal. Some countries found ways to work around Trump's policies, while others found common ground on issues like climate change and trade. But there was no denying that Trump had fundamentally changed the global landscape.